Hey, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. We're in serious trouble in so many ways. Here's just one of them. Things are going to be forced down our throats without any consent more and more.
So what brings me here today is the rollout of 5G technology. We know people are already getting sick from the lower frequencies, and we expect, that is our scientists expect, that these higher, ultra-high frequency microwaves are going to bring people to disease quicker. And
all right, 5G technologies, microwave towers, going to make us sicker, worse. You know, you're just going to have to get out of the cities. I hate to say it. Control your environment and get prepared for so many more challenges.
In a more intense form.
So there's a new wireless technology, 5G. So right now we're at a lower frequency, like 1 to 3 gigahertz. This is now 24 to 90 gigahertz. Just to put that in perspective, 90 gigahertz is 90 billion electromagnetic waves per second hitting and going through your cells every second. That is far from natural. Your heart has a circuit, has electricity to it. Your brain has electricity to it. It's about 8 to 10 hertz. This is billions of times more than what's natural. And 5G is being forced on us. In California, SB 649 is going to make it so they can put one of these transmitters in front of your house. And 5G doesn't travel very well because it's very dense. And so they have to put a transmitter about every 2 to 10 homes. And they're not going to ask you about it. They're just going to put it in front of you, exempt from any health, safety, or environmental review. On street lights, on poles in front of your house, on any kind of fixture that can get what they want. And it's not going to be your choice. There's not going to be any consent. And I got to tell you, it's not a very American thing to do. And these bills are stripping away your constitutional rights to protect yourself and your families.
Now, this is a big problem because we know that cancer rates around regular cell towers are about 3 or 4 times what they normally should be. We also know that there's neurological symptoms that increase.
So they already have these problems around cell towers, and these are even more powerful cell towers. They're in serious, serious trouble. All right, we're in for the battle of our lives, obviously.
Increase as you get closer and closer to a cell tower. Now, these new transmitters are going to be placed close to people's homes. It's going to be continuous exposure as with other cell towers, but it'll be emitting a much more higher frequency, high intensity wireless radiation.
Yeah, there are 600,000 cell phone tower sites in the United States. They're everywhere, on the sides of buildings, streetlights, water tanks. But Team 10 learned thousands of those towers violate federal rules that are supposed to keep workers safe. Benjamin Rivas has worked on cell phone towers for 14 years.
I was dealing with them day in and day out. Depression, and I get headaches from time to time, and mood swings and stuff.
From what I hear, they're putting off radiation like you wouldn't believe. As you can see, this one right here. That's what they are. 5G microwave death machines. I mean, whatever they are. They're not telling us what they are, and they appear to pop up overnight.
This is one woman's experience of living on the top floor under cell antennas for 2 months.
It started with my daughter. She initially got a rash on her leg that was sort of, she kept saying it was kind of funny because it wasn't hurting inside or on the skin. She said it was hurting in the skin. And then a few days later she got another rash on her arm, and then another small kind of stranger rash, and it was the same thing. And then one day in the kitchen she was holding something and she dropped it because she said it felt like the blood in her hand went cold and in a wave along her hand to her fingertips, and then her hand stayed numb for about 15 minutes.
Do not review this technology and do not speak on its safety. The American Cancer Society has never done a study on this and receives huge donations from the wireless industry. What they don't tell you is that the FCC guidelines do not cover children. They do not cover pregnant women. They were meant for short-term exposures. And this is incredibly important, and they're leaving out this facts. The organizations that set these standards, the IEE, are all scientists that were hired and from the wireless organizations. The FCC chairman is now the former main lobbyist and CEO of the Wireless Trade Organization. He is pushing this program for a very clear reason. He wants to push this program because he wants to have free reign in deploying cell tower transmitters all over this country and avoid the zoning process and public input. There was no public input because the design of this program was to prevent public input.
They're popping up outside bedroom windows and school campuses, despite objections from across the country.
5G can be a tremendous boom to California, but only if it can be put up quickly and easily.
Hayward Assemblymember Bill Quark co-authored legislation that would make it even harder for cities like Piedmont to object to a tower.
You wouldn't have to go through the Planning Commission, through the City Council.
The former NASA scientist says he may resurrect the bill recently vetoed by the governor.
I know scientifically that putting up these cell phone towers is safe.
But the International Association of Firefighters disagrees. They began opposing cell towers on fire stations after firefighters complained of health problems.
What's also important for people to understand is the FCC is dominated by the wireless industry itself. And the FCC are the people that are given the responsibility and privilege of regulating wireless radiation human exposure standards. So unfortunately, the FCC, whose chairman, who just left, and they change with every administration, was the former main lobbyist and the former president of the Wireless Trade Organization, CTIA. So the agency that's been given the responsibility and privilege of maintaining and setting our human exposure standards for wireless radiation are the people who profit and benefit from the proliferation.
They are stopping this, and their firefighters are fighting this, and they want anything near their stations. This connection with who has to regulate it and who's controlling it, they're in the same bed of the same people. That's no good. Now, this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Pass this on. You know what the cell towers look like. You need to stay away from them and not have them in schools or through public residence. And they need to stop building them and using them and placing them everywhere. We need a better way of communication that is less harmful to the human body. And it's time that we started fighting these conglomerations and these corporations and the government and preserve our health and our genetics and our ability to live in a safe and healthy area. And this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day. Pass this along to anyone you know for their own health and safety reasons.